Hello. I've decided to make this video after my friend came over and he actually thought that it was worth sharing. Something which he is more talented at. I'm more into, what do you call it? The content of things than communicating things. So that's probably why I designed the way I do. I'm here to show you some of the legacy of 2014 early days Robocraft when the community was still good, like any game or anything that becomes popular. It's good at the beginning, and afterwards people started doing it for different reasons. You have a factory in the game, and people at first already put a lot of effort and time and dedication into making something that's worth having. And when the factory was new, they uploaded it. Later on, new people came along which just wanted attention, so started uploading a lot of crap. That's why things degrade the way they do. Not just for gaming, entertainment. It's many forms of society, many shapes. Anyway, here's the fun part. I am tiny. You might occasionally, if I'm lucky, I guess. I've seen some of my robots like on the T-shirt and on the back of the game, and some other stuff like front page login screen for a while and the forums maybe, or just in game, which is much better than all of those. What I like to do is combine practicality with with creativity. So that doesn't mean I just make something look creative and make it function well enough to survive, like some creators that might be fun to see. You've seen those probably. I make them better than they were if they weren't creative. I've had principles that are similar to triforcing, basically, but in much more dimensions than the basic triforcing. Also, I loved to combine tier-based creativity, color, the size, strength, and if you cannot put black box next to white blocks and have that be shut up in one rail shot or whatever, you're forced to make creativity adapt towards that, which means if you do make something creative and it actually functions well and all the colors look right, you've pretty much done something that's as close to art as I consider anything except philosophy, maybe. I'll show you what I mean. This was the first bot I ever made. Where I make something practical killer, like this one. Of course, everything changed since 2014, as you probably know. So most stuff is out of date, but it was so awesome or so killer, or usually both, that I had to keep them. I bought 100 garages back in the day. You got 21 free or something, I don't know. So I have 121, probably more than any other guy I know. Unless you have spent Bitcoin on it, which I try to keep, but your choice. This bot is also a principle of the creative strength. Most people hide their guns because they don't want to end up being shot with a few blocks and have one gun left, and the enemy has two guns left. You know that situation. So they usually try to make guns less fragile, place them on stuff that's less fragile, put shields in front and whatever, make it all tight and stuff. And I respect it. That's nice, but I liked to use guns as armor, which means you automatically have the best of both. You always have a gun left because you use less armor on blocks, so all the blocks that you do have a gun, basically. That's why gun bets were a good thing. And the only reason I think it's respectable is because back in the day they used to be instant hit, not projectile delayed. They hit where you aimed. So if you made 360 and hit exactly the right block at exactly the right moment of the enemy team, killing his last gun, whatever. If you had that kind of pro sniping skill that people might recognize from the old days of Call of Duty, or for me, Medal of Honor, Light Assault, you shot them before they were even there. That's how good you had to be in the end. If you had that type of aiming skill, SMG's paid off. I respect it. I hope you also do. So this is the only truly practical bot that I made that's only practical. I tried to make every creative practical, but some ideas were so funny to do, I just had to make them even if they weren't practical. I hope you can respect that as well. This was just an experiment. I'm going to show you all my garages and the evolution of my bots and the diverse, that's the rocket inside the bazooka by the way, the diverse creative content mixed with functionality it has that's been respected by many high up people in the community. And I'm just glad I've seen some high people that were high up on the garages and popular that also share this talent or acknowledge the beauty of it or liked it themselves, made it themselves. I think this one looks like crap, honestly. It functions the way it does. I made it so the rocket could fire if all the rest of the robot got destroyed, and it would fire a missile at you. But because you died with too little CPU, that never worked out. It was an experiment. This is my second bot I ever made. This was just a scramjet fighter, which actually worked back in the day. Voyager, here's a Voyager, which I haven't. It's not didn't please me enough, but. This one has been seen quite a lot. It used to have wheels. Hovers work better now. CPU works different, so it gets shot pretty quick these days. But back in the day, when every block counted, it was pretty awesome. Actually, it was killer for a while, but then mostly when Ben quit it. This is a helicopter medic. I've added parts onto it with later updates, but the only reason I made this is because I wanted to fly when you couldn't fly. In the beginning, there was just you couldn't fly. That's and later on there were parts such as wings and rotors, much later. But this one could fly like a T-stick, basically, which I started to hate because of the noob use of it, but I used it to make a helicopter fly when you couldn't fly. So you would have sat there in the game, everyone was on the ground always, every game you were in, and suddenly you saw one thing flying by. That's the impressiveness of it. Here's one of my houses. So black was tier 10. My front door, you couldn't kick down. Some stuff inside as well. Oh yeah, there's a swing set in the back, so well, probably wouldn't want your nephew or whatever to play in my backyard. I'll bring it to battle. The floors I had to compromise on. The other one is like a Minecraft bed just for the fun of it. Even though I think that game's a bit simple. So there's that. Don't make me bring my house to the fight, dude. This is just a word play. Construction site. Site, as in view, There's a nice view on the battlefield. The Tesla waves act like sea waves. This was back in the day when such stuff was rarely done. Here you have a rudder used on a plane as a rudder for a boat. The screws and shit all the right direction. The plane could, if all the ship was destroyed, which was extremely rare, of course. I've only had a friend do it for me once. It was also a bit of an experiment. The jet fighter would launch, take off, and I could escape with it. It actually did happen in battle, I remember that now. Yeah, because of the CPU. I have this principle in multiple bots. This was also wordplay, as you probably notice. Did carry the dirt for the team though. Where's my wheel? Just have wheels here. Here. Looks like it, right? Good enough. If you're new, you don't recognize this, or barely. This is the way Mother Base used to look. except for this part, which is for um, didn't play this for so long. I forgot the name. Arios or something. Fuck it. It wasn't just four skinny ones. It was one fat one. So, and this was more round, but you can't make it all the way around. This is the way it used to look. So you're inside your mother bay on the way to battle. Inside that is another mother bay. Actually, and just look way different now. And inside the mother bay is another bot. I had a race card in it, so if the mother bay got killed, you had a race card, which popped out. Low CPU on that before. Now it's just hovers. You can't tell from this angle, but it's actually made to break away in such a way that bot takes little damage when the outer shell is wrecked. Of course, you turn to the enemy to make them hit the part you want. Should have had my friend here. He never knew this game and said it was works of art and epic. He is more into sharing the music he makes and such, and I don't really care about sharing anymore. More about what I do myself. Of course, if you share the beauty of things, that makes life a little bit better. This is a combination between the Raptor, American Raptor, one of the best jet fighters ever made, a Russian Sukhoi Su-35 flanker, and a new type of Russian stealth bomber. It's like, that's all the best things of them. Try to make it into the game. We used to have radars, as you might know. It fitted here in the nose cone, just like real fighters. I tried to make this realistic as it should be. It looked awesome when this thing flew back in the day. Every bot has been made to get the most out of the update, so every physics that might get sluggish in a later update, like flying or whatever, it pushed it to the max. Always pushed it to the max, so that the most. If you had like a nice, if you saw this thing, if you know the way Russian jet fighters can fly and turn all sexy, that's what this thing used to do, exactly like that. So it's not just look, appearance, combat, creativity combined. It's also functionality, creativity, and movement. That's actually realistic and combined functionality with creativity. It's my ICBM launcher. If you shot the front or the back, the ICBM would get launched. It used to have a Tesla up front. It was more of an experiment. This is just from another experiment. It has a Ghost module. When it first came out, I had this game I loved called Renegade. And you have that kind of tactical insight in that game that combines more technical warfare like RTSs with first shooters made into a game where you basically you take charge of the RTS from a first person perspective, which is kind of like playing chess and being one of the knights. So this is a tank which had 4 tracks and could stealth itself. It's called stealth tank, or stank as we used to call it, because you basically have to smell them. It fires the same, it acts the same. Tank moves backwards, fire comes from its cannon. The ones I'm showing now are from the early days when I still had to experiment before I could implement everything. This is just for the fans. I never was that much into it, waste of time. There's more great games if you want to play like that, stuff like that. Just start on one called Rising World. Too passive, I need to be myself in multiple ways. Plasma from its mouth. It flies. I won't show every bot, just prove it to you, just trust me. People have probably seen it in game. The legs are a little short, I admit, but I had to compromise somewhere. Flies. Shoots plasma from its mouth like a shit. Just like my dragon, with plasma breath. It looks fragile, but with tier-based creativity, it actually functioned pretty well. It was it was the first dragon I had ever seen in the game, even though back then I played every day. Um, I've put some crawler legs onto it later on, just so I can grip onto people and not just land on them with my Teslas, which I also added later when they were added to the game. Just look at those wings, aren't those sexy? It's like it's coming to get you, right? Got the causality, action reaction. If you dare to just mock me without looking at the beauty of it, I came in to get you. It looks inefficient with the weak blue armor having the wings there, but I could fly without the wings. So it was more a redundancy, which every bot should have. Redundancy of capabilities and everything, of course. Add some more guns just to make it more powerful. Looks like a lion, right? It's a lion, just yeah. Griffin, that's it. This is a space shuttle. It's pretty fast, it used to be even faster. My idea was that when a space shuttle re-enters the atmosphere, plasma will be created along its hull by all the heat and friction and the densified air. So the thought was that everywhere where there's heat shielding and plasma could reach, possibly, or even beyond sometimes, I've noticed, he could fire that plasma at you while entering the atmosphere. So he's flying around shooting his own created plasma at you. I made this UFO, but I only added the cosmetic parts later, just because I thought it made sense somehow. But I haven't tried a pre-wave putting them on. If you imagine them without the cosmetic parts, I'm not gonna delete everything just for one video. No disrespect or something, I don't know you. It's gotten like 2000 views, I think. Garage. It has lights at the bottom, so it was shooting beams in multiple directions with allo hue. It weren't nanites, there were like little plus signs floating in the air. It was beams, like beams of water, like what nanites should look like. Healing you at the same time, a light shooting down at the bottom. My friend also made one, and he put a cow under it. I loved it. So funny when I first saw it. It's just a modeling art piece. We got skis, I had to do something with skis. So, the skis hurt you with melee damage slightly. It's not made for tier 10, I think this is tier 5, 6. Some parts are above, some below. He's sticking his tongue out because he doesn't care, he's enjoying himself. It's all red though, his tongue froze when he stuck it out because he did it too much. It's stuck there. Here you can see the pose that I gave it. I've heard a lot of people ask like, why is this trusted out? It seems childish, but it just makes the most creative sense. He's trying to get downhill faster, so he just farts some extra. Yeah, I know that's very childish. Before I was speaking to my friends about nature of reality and shit, and now I'm saying something about farts, so don't blame me. It's just the way things turn out to be. See his arms, his chest pose, yeah, going through the glass-ish, but you can't tell. Well, you can, but you know it's the physics don't work that way. It was pretty killer, but they messed with the updates again, with the physics again, of course, later updates. Here's my other house with some more cosmetic stuff. The most beautiful part about this, oh, by the way, if you like that Minecraft shit, I made it like this for you. That's the bed. Anyway, I made a chair here so we could look out the front window, but it was too vulnerable. I didn't want to put my pilot there. And the pilot, if he died, all of your shit died. It wasn't just cosmetic. So, what people would do is bomb my house with airplanes and all kinds of stuff, right? By the way, I snipe you from my window. They would bomb my house completely flat, just rubble, pieces of rubble. Like, where's your pilot? It's underneath. And no, it's not underneath. It's in my car. They never shot the car. It always, one guy saw it once and then he kept shooting the car. But the beauty is like 98% of the time, I would say, they would just shoot the house up to rubble, and I would try to drive off with my car. But then they must have discovered or realized something. So people don't think about it too much. Strange. I believe the more you think, the more beauty can be in it, and then once you've thought about it, you every time know the deeper meaning of it, and it just becomes more beautiful. I know a girl who works like that, by the way. Incredible. That's not the only part, it's incredible. Larger than life. This soldier is a paratrooper, so... Oh man. Could go on like this is worth anything compared to what I just said. They had a hole in the parachute so it wouldn't wiggle around, right? Put a hover there just so you can see air movement pass through it. He's got a smoke detail here because he's smoking, and when he moves around you see the cigarette leaf smoke. Looks funny. You probably know what it looks like. I won't go in test mode for everything. Yeah, he's a sniper. Paratrooper sniping you from the sky. This was the ISS under construction, like kind of like in real life, I guess. So it wouldn't have to be a mega. Yeah. This is my Zeppelin. Just had to. Main reasons were the movement parts worked accordingly. I can fly without the. I think I still can, without the rotor on top. I like placing the small rotors on the back though. But the main reason was that you could usually have a billboard or a whole poster on the side of the Zeppelin for advertisement, right? My advertisement is that it's not for rent. That is the advertisement. Guess that's roleplay. If you know Akatine, this is Shake. It's kind of a... It's a very fun show. Pretty epic, but also very shallow and bit of the wrong type of thinking. Even though it's funny. Kind of like Family Guy, I guess, but more intelligent and, you know. My friend, Clever Metaphor, he made Frylock. He also makes great music, by the way. Clever Metaphor is just one of my many friends who had skill and insight into Robocraft and among other things. And we had a kind of creative core. I do consider myself, and most of my clan probably considers me the most, more of the, I wouldn't say leader, I don't like there to be a leader, but more like the more upfront guy of creativity in the clan. But I couldn't, I wouldn't have played it without them. They made some awesome shit. And if they can make something impress me, that just makes it better. And if I can do something to impress them, I can tell you how much fun it was. Just fighting together, knowing how complicated your shit was to build with the logic behind it and the creative reasoning. And there was this one guy, Bruce, what's his name, from Tennessee. He was so good at putting his motivations behind something productive, like really pushing himself to make something. And he was also good at motivating others to do that. I was more about making stuff and not sharing too much, and he was like the little details, those little nuances, he caught those in one in one view, and then could just easily say how to make it even better, or like touch that up a bit. Like, I can explain it the way he does. Great guy. Too bad I had too much issues of my own to be personal to him. This is just some anime good ideas. It's an experiment. It's all flat like that. You know, that's not. I needed to have it in a certain pose and stuff, but it's also Gurren Seitan, I think. Yeah. It used to work back in the day, pretty well. Oh no! If the wings got shut off too close to his shoulders, he became a bit clumsy. I was seeking for another word. A horseshoe crab, living dinosaurs. Many people call it. They probably read it somewhere and re-say it. Underneath is 1 Tesla, but I put one up front as well just because it's more effective. And there's also healing inside under the shell. Well, I'll just go there. Oh right, I thought that the horseshoe crab has a mouth under here which he eats you with. I thought that actually looks pretty disgusting, so I removed it and placed it there. This was also one of the reasons. Yeah, there's nanos here, the strongest ones. So even... Oh, they're all strong dude. So if even all the guns on the outer got shot, I would still heal you from below and just maneuver myself into the right position or crouch in the right position. If you jumped up and kept your spacebar pressed, it just hovered over the terrain, like or you could hovering over, swimming through the ocean. You know. Yeah. Too much detail to name it all. Actually, I may give a lot of detail about the creative purpose and roleplay behind it, whatever. But there's a lot that I don't tell as well. I just hope you have that insight yourself. This was an experiment. It was supposed to be a medic kit, like a box. And then I had some other ideas from some... I think it was a dream? Not sure. Oh yeah, stop abandoning me. Fuck yeah. They usually abandon the medics a lot. So I just, got them to stop abandoning me. Kyle Borflowski. Making Jews look not that bad. Yeah, history is abused. Anyway, I manipulated. My friend made Carmen, and we also had a Kenny and Stan. We had all of them together, even in the same fight. So imagine the South Park squad, Excuse me. Has tracks underneath, so it stays stable. Tracks are less gripful these days, I think, or spastic, but it just worked pretty well for such a design that's just asking to fall over, but it didn't. Another Chinook more cheaply, so it's less detail. It has less detail inside. It's skinnier stuff. Okay. Not even thrusters on it. So it could carry a cannon and drop the cannon in the battlefield, as the Chinook would get shot as you saw it come over a hill or something. Came off behind the cliff and I dropped my cannon. I ran around for a while and shot it around, and then my Chinook regrew. Tried to adapt that to a proper Chinook later on, as you can see with a Humvee car. One guy told me that the Chinook doesn't have that convenient armor there, that's just convenient in game, because it has to be killer and creative, not just one of them, right? And it has to complement each other multiple times It's hard to explain that. But it actually does have armor there in real life. Such a smart ass. Lancelot Albion. With his, I think that's the Lancelot Albion. I forgot what his weapon was called. Couldn't give him the right pose with his hands, and make it recognizable. I did make it before in the certain pose, so he was like slashing you with the sword. But I thought that the cube design, would have to use different shapes of cubes that look like less recognizable as robot arms. So I just made it front pose with his arms front. Doesn't that look sexy? It's like a motorcycle, but also a jet fighter, and at the same time personal suit. It's just sexy. I've made some shit on the back to make it more creative. Compensated on creativity there, I guess. Yeah. My pilot should be in here, right? Oh, never added the pilot there. Oh wait, I did, but I can place more than one of them. I have them in some different bots. Also in night, they're called knights in that show. Yeah. Every anime is the same to me, kinda. Good story though. People who made it think they're really deep and shit. They're just really shallow in other ways. Some typical anime shit. It's like it's made by children that grew up, kind of. The missile actually helps it to stay up because the smoke cloud that, like, after water line is here and the periscope is just above water. The smoke that's released from the ICBM or whatever, leaving the submarine, inside the smoke is helium. So it actually helps it to stay up. You would expect the opposite, of course. This is not the best version I made of it, but it's the first one. It's a mammoth tank from Tiberian and Son. Should make it into a mega so I can add. Oh, you can't add those weapons here. What I wanted to do is place rocket pods on the back like it has in Tiberian Sun, and mega rails if they ever were introduced. And they never were, no. If they were ever introduced on its side. Because this is the most OP thing unit you can make in Tiberian Sun. Great game, awesome technical, great story. Worked out very well with some talent and kick-ass attitude that combines with its technical parts so well. I can't explain. That's just the best game ever made in my opinion. But it's too basic to play these days. If you had a game as awesome as that made with current day technology, but games never became more quality. They just got better tools to make them. This is also an experiment. As you can see, there's kind of not very diamond shape, but something like it in blue. And every tier is in a specific position for a specific reason. And it also looks nice. Looks funny, right? It's just geometry is probably meant to look pretty to humans or whatever. Because nature works that way. With a reason. Like a crystal or something, you know. Or a metallic crystal, that's a good example. Like a crystallized metal. Or crystal, usually contains metal. But I made stuff like that to experiment, and stuff that's really all about looking a certain way, the thing that already exists, or a thing I would try to make some things that don't exist, but getting other people to understand that is yeah, you know. This one I flew with my friend Apteryx from New Zealand. He has a Maui dolphin, which are only a few left of, like 36 or something. And we flew together and killed some. He was actually a healer. I later added the baby as per CPU, so why not? Did it with Rhino. This used to be connected with a bar. Sometimes I lost the baby. Yeah, when I lost the baby, was usually the first. Poor whales. Happens with real whales too. Often lose their baby to orcas or stuff like that. This time the orca lose. That's nice. I guess. Just because of my name looks like this guy from South Park, Tiny. Well, the wheels are gone for some reason, I don't know why. That mega wheels. Or normal wheels, I don't remember. Anyway. I had to make this. Yes, controller joystick. He's like a secret genius with his own language that only his best friend understands, but to everyone else, their interpretation, it's gibberish, you know? Or he's a retard. Yeah. Morally pretty nice, though. My name is not, I just made it with 2 M's here to be recognized, but it's actually Timey. That's to do with that kind of shooter aspect I told you about, making 360s and instant hitting somewhere at exactly the right time and exactly the right battle with self-awareness that's treating it like one big chess game, and while you're playing that as a first shooter, being instinctively strong in close-up combat and yet having that insight at the same time, that awareness. That's what I always had. There's more to it that I so. I won't tell to everyone. I had a helipad here. There were wheels in these gaps, so it looked a bit better. I should remove the airplane, but people like to sit on this pad to get it repaired. So here's like a crane to lift some stuff and put some new modules onto your tank, whatever. Here's another type of arm that could switch multiple directions and stuff. Here's one of those robot arms that you might have in a car factory combined with a, instead of a welder or something, more like a hand grip. So you could see it could move like to the left here and to the, all kinds of directions. Here's just some computer core stuff. Here's one like medic truck-ish with usually. And this is from Tiberian Sun as well. I tried to make it like a repair pad in Tiberian Sun, which also has kind of robot arm thing onto it with a welder and stuff that grips onto you like different ways, and just like touches you. Light there. That's the welding. People liked it. It's kind of some trash thrown together. Some nice stuff thrown together. And jetpack man. I had like a jetpack suit unit which she set in. And it actually used to work pretty well. Now I can only fly up once and then I have to go down and back up again. And it used to fly just freely, like a T-stick. Basically, it is T-stick as well as hover. And shoot people from a suit. Don't respect T-sticks that are just functional. It's just they're so shallow. So yeah, you can just turn the game to shit and make it work. Okay. Fuck. Oh, by the way, if you think if you're one of those T-stick users, I think I say that because I get killed by them. I usually am the one killing them with this. You know that pro aiming skill I told you about? Hitting every projectile exactly where you need to, even if it's behind you, exactly the right part to damage. Yeah, imagine this thing versus T-sticks with that kind of aiming skill. Yeah. Anyway, that's just for the haters. Don't take it personal. This is a World War II mine diffuser. the rotors are like changed, that it's slapped into the ground to hit the mines and not damage the tank itself. Maybe the change occasionally. Although most explosives in those days weren't that strong yet, only at the end of World War II. Torpex and that kind of shit. This is the melee damage that you receive from the change that rotates, so it's the creative rotation of the diffusing that's supposed to damage you, and the way it does that is through Teslas. One of the guys said, like, rotors don't hurt you. Yeah, these do. Oh. Mars rover Curiosity had some radar and stuff and receiver exactly. This is a. No, this is the receiver. Ultra high frequency receiver and transmitter. This is an ultra high frequency transmitter on the back. Just have a radar there. This I just made it open so you could see it, but this is actually it's pretty sure it's plutonium core. It's red because it's actually I think it's ceramic stuff in real life. In between, I wanted to have it a bit open so you could see it. In between is like green glowing for some reason, always green, you know. Radioactive material. Yeah, fuck. Just put some guns in it that worked with it. It also hovers, by the way, so you see the wheels. You know the issue with real Mars rovers, that the wheel gets stuck in the sand. Yeah, no, this one hovers. They might want to consider that on Mars. Though of course it would have to be pretty big hovers since the atmosphere is so thin. This is one of my other creative ones. It's my medic cube, which I later turned into. It's basically a T-stick, but it's not about that. I made it all black, but it used to be all white, and I only had black in key areas under each center, under the weapons. Here's one lower, but it's just the only one on the side. So the weapons would get shot less, and the internal hovers as well, and that kind of stuff. They would get shot less, and I could survive with only like 10% of my health or something before you get instantly destroyed at that low CPU, as people kept abusing pilot seats to just escape without any. Just. Well, a lot of my friends did it as well, but I don't know. I never took that serious. It flies up front like hover, can turn each direction, can fly, tilt itself up, and then fly straight up into the sky or diagonal, and then fly across the battlefield like a T-stick at airplane speed-ish. This was just, I just had to make it from a show that's been, it's a nice sci-fi, but it's a bit of a, they gave the story a bad twist and are not enough about the sci-fi, more about action that's affordable for the. It's also made by people who don't know what really makes magic about sci-fi or greatness. Storyline is that you have people who pretend to be gods. You have one race that genetically modified themselves, so they got all fucked up and couldn't reverse genetic defects that they didn't know of at the time. Kind of like what's about to happen in our world. We already have more tools than we know what kind of consequences they have and how they have consequences, like vaccinations might do if you're unlucky. Don't have to believe in that, but if certain genes get suppressed or enhanced more by introducing certain organisms or RNA altering things, then there's a lot more to it than scientists know, since science and anything else in our capitalist world needs money behind it before there's reason to, and some people abuse that lack of knowledge that they do have. So yeah, everyone has to be their own scientist, sadly. And also the strongest people should carry others, lead them, without any tainted agenda. Let me say it like that. There's a lot who will abuse it. This is back on point. They genetically modified themselves, and they fucked up themselves, but they were pretending to be gods. They protected them from the evil gods, which just conquered planets and took their technology, like parasites, as they say in this show, to steal what they can use and make you subjects of their intergalactic empire and shit. These ones were the protectors who like were at a stalemate with them. Um, on part morally because they didn't want to intervene in the natural development of a species, which I can't agree with, but it really depends on the character of the species and the way it got messed up and the way it doesn't get messed up. The beauty of human species or whatever species. They were protectors of the Protected Planet Alliance stuff. It's Thor's hammer. They were playing this god or leader in their world, military leader, was Thor, the god of thunder, or as my people call it, Donar. It's Thor's hammer. Neutrino engines and shit. Just give me a moment. There's something going off. Hold on. Excuse me, someone broke into my house and left a phone here for me to seek contact with them. With only a few numbers in them, 2 numbers in them. There's some genocide going on in Europe at the moment. They are threatening me because I speak out on it. It's Muslims, they pick up 4-year-old girls with expensive cars and make their Jew friends turn media in such a way that little girls get exploited, think they are good sluts when they like guys with cars. Retarded. But they're only children, so they don't know how to be real sluts. For God's sake. Oh my god, it was crazy, man. But they abuse it so they can take the genes out of their families, the beautiful genes from the beautiful girls, and that's how they're like the Borg. They assimilate. Every few thousand years they used to do that. Now they're just that's how they make empires fall from within, taking over the people with their god, which is basically Satan. All the evil and corruption are their tools to win people over. So they give you sex with little children, they give you expensive cars from drug money or whatever, and it's the way they get power in your country, and then they make more people like the police corrupt, and then when you try to call in on something, the police won't even help you anymore. And they do it with media, people in power in media, all kinds of stuff, and even at the local schools they have their wives working there to make sure they can... I think they just legalized having driver lessons paid for with prostitution. So all the and they're endorsing pole dancing to little girls now. Anyway, such limited way of thinking. Even if you try to hate someone, to corrupt them like that, which they don't, they know what hate means, and they don't know pride or honor either. They treat it as if they have authority over each other by giving each other money and cars and fake power over other people who are as corrupt as they are and weak, but they're still grown up, so they can still do a lot of damage. Like whatever I've made stuff like classical music, if the world consists of people like that, but they see us like a source to feed off, so they let us make all the technology and all the proper shit and shit with passion behind it. It's the reason to exist, passion, and they just like acting primal and as if they're dominant and shit, and it's all about racism. You are me, they are them, we are us. Divide and conquer. Some people have always known this stuff, of course, and should protect Europe from the genocide that's going on now, where all of Europe will be ugly and slowly fall like Egypt from within. That's why they kicked out the Jews, but the Jews are more technical about it and sadomasochistic on a psychological level. These people are like want to confront you in your face about how they abuse your daughter or whatever, and then you're so way beyond them that you can't even consider bothering yourself with such stuff. But if no one does, that's the heroes died in war, the pussies survived, and you're not one of them, but you survived because you set priorities, and for another reason, which is stuff I'm not gonna say. And then they just treat you like they have any concept of man. So sorry for all of that. Reality is confronting, and you have to let it be, or it'll be more fucked up. It's kind of like doing your homework or not. You can sit in prison all your life having done something to either survive or get rich easy, or something like those things, not prison, whatever. Or you can just do your homework and get the job you want, Maybe a little passion in it. Who knows? Maybe even more than passion. If you can grasp that. Here's my turtle. Here's my knuckles. His fists beat you. Vacuum cleaner. The wheels are gone for some reason. It's the reason I made this is that's the thing with me. Reality is really confronting, but so is beauty. So I have more. I can appreciate beauty more. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. The Teslas, they damage you, suck you up into the vacuum cleaner. This brand of vacuum cleaner is based on a real life vacuum cleaner. The brand name is AFK. That's the main reason I had to make it. It's really fragile up front. Just use little hovers. This was also a joke, Scout Platoon, with a song to it. Scout Platoon. This could fly upside down and really slow or really fast and still snipe you because I'm good at it. Quick aiming, quick shooting in exactly the right place, even calculating that railgun delayed move turn speed into it so I could hit it on the right moment and not overshoot or whatever. I just had to make this a virus since it shoots nanites into you as a healer. It's like a virus just shooting nanite parasites into your robot, larger organism. And then on the bottom there's an injection needle. It used to have a spike there. I don't know why it's gone, which it injected with, like real parasites do. And then it damaged you when it touched you, like came onto your cell or your unit. This worked so incredibly well. You had the pilot seat in the middle here. Movement on the back, I will show you slightly, but it's packed to the max. I had to sift through mazes of locking myself inside to even make that stuff and be able to re-enter. I had to calculate it and shit to even be able to get out of it. Okay, yeah, it's so tightly packed I can't even. Wait, that's a movement part. Okay, these are. Yeah. Can I place this back the way it was? No, I cannot, probably. Wait, which way is it turned? Okay, there we go. Yeah, I could have, or not. It's so tightly packed, it has just one cube space left in there, which you could place a cube in, but it wouldn't attach anywhere. It has hovers in here, I know you can tell from this, but it does. And it has and inside here, it's easier to show probably. Also has hovers. Yeah, tight packed as well. The pilot seat was here on the grip top. So usually the bottom got shut off, and the pilot seat was just on the bottom of it. I think, yeah, I think on this level or this one. Yeah, this one I think. And if the grip didn't survive, the top did, and it would just carry on. You could bring this thing up any cliff, the steepest cliffs in any map. It would go up there, come after you, or heal you. You could hold front key like W. At all times, and not get stuck ever. I just had to put a Tesla because it's supposed to drill into crystals to destroy your core or drill into enemies. So I had to put a Tesla there, but it used to have a radar, so it spins the drill. Yeah. I wanted mega, whatever they call these days, energy booster inside this as batteries, but can't place this on here without compromising on the weapons for CPU. So worked awesome. It killed so much, dude. Like for each time it died, at least took 2, if you're unlucky. Usually like 4 or 6. If it got healed, of course you can beat 10 people at once. And if the top got shut off with all the movement, there's also movement in the bottom, and the pilot would still sit on top of this thing, but it would get exposed. But it's incredibly durable. Like the famous brand, it's made after I found out later. Just made it according to the stuff I found logical and the colors I found logical. But it's imagine this black one being this blue one being black, and you'll get our brand is probably starts with the something. Walter, whatever. Just a bridge. Just had the guy with a camper and someone's falling off. Stand over you, heal you. The checker teammate that checks you. It's a teammate that checks the enemy. I didn't have enough CPU for pawns because there's some movement. It can hover and track right. This is Grasshopper. I didn't need the rotor before, but it used to work in accordance to the height of the jump height of the mech legs. Combined it with I only did that later, wasn't even needed. But combined it with thrusters, so it would the back side would jump up all the way, and the fronts were those insect legs. So it didn't work out that way. Why did this eyes go, dude? That's. Do you still have those cosmetic parts? You need to see what eyes he had. I don't have any more of them. Okay, so yeah, or they don't exist anymore. You know those radar receivers that were like a sphere, and every tiny part of that sphere had a sphere was made out of a triangle that was triangle until it became a big sphere, but it was minute triangles. That's the insect eyes that used to have, like real insects, you know. Look awesome, creepy awesome. Triceratops cosmetic, it's very fragile, I just had to try. Skeleton, dinosaur and stuff. Yeah, this is Elmo. We did the Sesame Street platoon. My Phoenix used to work pretty well. Fire from its wings. Claws to grab onto you. I later added through legs onto it to grab onto you. This does, yeah. Imagine this thing flying, it can fly. I'm not going to show everything with this mode. It can still fly, even though they messed up with physics a long time ago. It's my old Stargate. If you see it from a distance, it kind of looks like Stargate from that. Same as the Thor's ship from Stargate SG-1. So it's healing you from through the event horizon like a portal wormhole from another planet. This is the ramp they had in the series and shit. And it can survive without the. This is bound to get shot first. The Stargate. Can survive without that. My pterodactyl also just had to. When making this, I discovered that pterodactyls are actually almost exactly like frogs, but then they grew wings and more like a beak. But skeleton, I sometimes go on Wikipedia to make stuff. I used to go and make stuff on Robocraft, so just realized that in the process of making it. Crusty Crab, just had to. Why not? Not my favorite, whatever. Pocket Medic, Earth Medic, Pocket Edition. Instead of the real size Earth, you know. So this is kind of the way the moon is shaped on the back, which you never see. It can rotate, spin, make the moon spin around it, and every cubicle gets shut indiscriminately, I guess you call it. And yep. Harrier jet fighter took off fetal wise straight up, and then could fly front, you know. So, stuff on my mind a little. This amazing girl, but at the same time, some other larger stuff, and the way I'm being threatened in real life. The way they operate and stuff. It's so easy. Um. Fetal wise up, then I can fly straight and such. Engines are on the outside as well, just so it's more practical, but it actually has engine inside. Space firefighter. Extreme. The nanos used to be beams, as I said, like fluid waterish, but like in a straight beam. This one extinguished you and that healed you after you got shot up to fire or whatever. Huh. That's the hoses, the nanos on the hoses, as you can tell. It's just funny to me. It's my sniper rifle. Someone else made this after I made this. There was one guy who literally copied it, and there was another guy who I think just had the same concept in mind, or might have seen the other guy or something like that. But one guy copied it, so then the other just made it, I think. It's like laying on the ground there, trigger everything. Functions. Yes, I had to make it. Experiment was good. I didn't have enough balloon to, enough CPU to fill to create all the out of the balloon. But that's a hot air balloon. Instead of hot air, it's helium. Thrusters go up and down. It was on the right balance, like it would just float in midair. If you push it up, it floated in midair higher up. Stayed like stationary there. This one my wasp stinger here and everything. Could fly with just one type of movement, but it has 3. I wanted to put radio receivers here, but it was too small and the eyes would be too big. This should be diagonal rocket pods, but then the rockets couldn't stick out the front the same way, so it's firing energy. So just made it push it up. I started with just a washing machine. This was I made that in my first garage. This was actually the first spot ever. Didn't have enough CPU for anything, so I did something funny. And the fun thing I had to remove it from my first garage so I could make a killer bot that I could level up with. But then I remade it much later. It would stand there without the... It would stand there and just sit there. Heal you if I... Once I get the guns for it. And just wiggle on its corners, like rumbling, like a rumbling washing machine. You know? And I had a radar cloak here, so it's looked as if it was spinning. This, of course, when you rumble, the meter goes up as if it's making rotations inside. Then I added some plug to it and portable energy supplies. It was a fun start. This one actually functioned pretty well. Now I had to mess up the wings so much. I've seen them better. I had to mess with this also. The colors are a bit messed up now and stuff. But this is a hover MLS from 3 Sim. I've seen someone who made a more, bit more cube shape, a shorter version of it, like the front's cut off or something. But this is the way it's supposed to be in 3 Sim all along. I had 2 rocket pods which were actually connecting in the middle section here. But for practicality, I just placed them straight on top, which the other guy also did. I wanted to keep it real, but they wouldn't fit sideways anyway. I first had rocket pods here, and it just shot plasma. Rocket pods made from cubes. This was my fish, kind of an experiment. It wiggled and flew like a fish to the air. It could fly. It could turn upside down and still fly up. And it's basically a very tight combination of D-stick and hover. It's so agile, so precise in every movement. That's why I made it. Made every thrust in the right place for that. Physics changed, but still kind of works. I just had to because I was the one Dutch guy in the clan. Kind of. Too bad it's pink, but that's a tier it had to have. That's all I know. Oh, this is my Tower deck glider. Riley Snyder made the first one. I have to admit, I saw the thing and I had that idea, but then he told me I already did that. He already made that. That's 2 sets of tiny wings, rise and fly with. I think I once added the blink module to it, or does it still have a blink module? No. It could warp in the TV series. It's a jet fighter that can fly into space and then go into warp. Or jump drive. Not really warp. My lawnmower, which was really effective. But when I made everything for the current update was in. That's been on the t-shirt and you should see it in action. Like the front, I just tilted up. I could also fly straight at it. That worked. I tilted the front up and just smacked myself onto the enemy and just mowed him like this. Bam. Just the front up and then. Just a flock of birds on Mars. Guess it isn't suspicious at all. Oh, a motorcycle. It's actually fun to drive. Just had to make it. Made the engine block exactly like. Well, not. There's some tiny details I can do, but as much as possible, like the motorcycle head as an example. My factory. Where's the wheels? Again, the wheels are gone. Okay, well, I have the wheels here with the hydraulics like over it. So, oh yeah, Pokeball. I've got to heal them all. Like when you're the only healer, I've got to heal them all. And you also have to heal them all. It's a dedicated medic in the world of Robocraft. This one was the wheels here. I had to make them touch down because of an update. The wheels were higher up on this side. This is a car. This is a trailer car carrier. So it turned pretty nicely until a certain update. It turned really sharp actually. Had some hovers in for stability. I could lose the truck, and still heal people. Because the pilot seat was in the car in the back. And that could release at the end, driving off. It actually worked up to a certain update again. There's a motorcycle. If you're wondering what it is, it's a small motorcycle. Usually like to make things better, so bigger, so it's more practical, creative. The old Protean cubes you used to get. My friend said the top logo looks wrong, but it isn't wrong. It's the same amount of cubes as hexagons. Yeah, Protean. I wish I had that rainbow bar that some people got from a event or something. So with this one, there's a Protean crate for my team every match. That's the idea. So, whoa, it's really compact. It's the most durable medic I have, actually. The space shuttle looked much better before, but I had to make it smaller. It actually lifts off, and it can lose. It does S thrusters, small thrusters in its side boosters. Can lose those and still just fly with the orange tank. The shuttle, not so much flight. It's more as a cosmetic. The other shuttle flies much better, but you can't have both. Can't have that big shuttle on this CPU wise, and I would have to make it bigger to make it proportional. My cement truck. I had a little bit of cement left over in here. Some guy kept saying it looked weird, so I took it away eventually. They look unspecified, so. Yeah. See that? Smoke here. My fly swapper, I was tired of all those T-sticks and shit, so I was just trying to mock them, but I didn't get to make it fast enough without compromising on armor. So it flew up and went after those T-sticks, you know, to fly swap them. I was kind of like an annoying mosquito. I've done it sometimes. As you can't shoot back, because I didn't want to shoot back. You know, I just wanted to fly swap them. So they shot me before I got to them a lot of times. This is cheese. Worked really well because of in the front it has like tier 8 armor. So it's like, if you were talking about triforcing, this is like another thing. I made some holes in the sides, but it didn't look right. Let me see. Right there. Sleeping soldier. I didn't have the frame over the bed at first. Here is a night lamp. It had a radio receiver here, like a radio. Tried green in between it. It has spare room next to it. It used without the frame. It used to have spare CPU for a wife next to him. You can contact him in game if you're interested. That was the idea, and it has aerials here, like a spring bed thing, kind of. My welder fires when it goes backwards. It's a medic trying to weld you in game. Functions. We just had to make a herd of cattle. They're also passive. Just give them a gun, you know. Guy leading them. The pilot sitting there, top full. Turn the cattle into less than passive. This is Tiberian Sun repair vehicle. Made it as good as well as accurate as I could to the Tiberian Sun game. Well, I took the lights away for some reason. This looks fragile, and it is let's get shot first. That's the way it's designed. Also, the wheels are gone. This is my APC. It's one compact block. Just had to make it. This is a wordplay again. Hammer time. Never worked well this one, but also can destroy it. I tried making this spider I saw in real life. Magnified, the legs should more go to the torso, but I wouldn't fit. Just made it straight so it gets shot less. It turned out different than, oh yeah, the web. It has smoke here, so like, as it moves, it leaves a web behind him. A wheel that I tried to make, but it looked really crap, as you can tell. But I tried to make it proportional to this picture I had. Could have done the pose differentness. See those fins, like the thing, that's what I like. It's a simple thing I like. This is my, oh, that shit is so strong. Redundant. I mean, the wings, they are very redundant. I try to make the pattern like a pattern of a dragonfly in real life. It's got like tiny, thin skeleton structure through the wings. Mm. Colors are different for looking at different angles. Once saw one of these like 30 centimeters big, like they used to have in the prehistoric times. I saw it in real life once. It grew that big for some reason in my area, and then some guys showed it to some uh, babysitting, post-school babysitting. I forgot the name. Women there, and she wasn't amazed, just scared of insects, and she made the guys kill the thing. Just those genes should have progressed onto other dragonflies. It's still in there. The wings get shot. I'm trying to make it lose movement, but you can shoot flak at this. I made this anti-flak. That's what it's designed for. You can shoot flak at those wings for ages. Just passes through it and shit. Not through it, but like it does hit it. But the explosion radius just goes all around. Some old Titan rockets I set to make with a Mars lander on it. That this Mars lander could like land on its own. Made it in stages. Build it sequentially. Well, again from that anime. It's a nightmare. Made this in the game as well. Oh, I used to have a thruster here. Yeah. Looks really slick and stuff. It's really nice. There's supposed to be huge lasers in here. But I can make those fit in there. And make it visible. These are like lasers that are opening up to shoot beam at you. Like just destroy entire platoons of helicopters by just firing these lasers and spinning 360 on its axis. Stuff like that. Anti-gravity wings or something. Yeah. Flew pretty agile, like a T-stick and a flyer combined. It was fun to use. Yes, it does blend. It does blend. Another ICBM truck. It's trying to test out some different stuff. And then we're almost to the end of it. Thank God. Just gonna focus on other stuff. This angry farmer would rather have you not touching the cows. No milk. A bull. Cow. Calf. I just made this really simple, so I didn't need to use any CPU and detailed stuff. I only had the cows at first, which is why they're so detailed and the rest isn't. But I felt like adding the rest, I could color this in. Didn't have free color back then. In between that. You just have to make everything tier-wise, but this was at a stage where tiers were lost, tier-based creativity. Which was the most awesome thing, as I said. So I just added some stuff. This was Rolo's Vincent, I think, yeah. The guy who could stop your perception of time. While he smacked you, slashed you with just swords and stuff. Could have made it in a different pose. Just tried to make it the same model at first and then later pose, but actually I wanted the arms like this. Should have done something with the legs or something. The legs are also beautiful. See this is a boot. He had a wheel here, so you could like ride on train tracks or something, or just drive, yeah, something like that. That's pretty massive boots. Spikes here. Grappling hooks, they all have grappling hooks on their things here. We shall see. Another bot. This was the first jet fighter I made fly with a local missile. You didn't have the tiny ones back then, and just those things were massive, so a lot of mass. It was like the first jet fighter people saw flying and launching rockets in flight. Needed a lot of thrust to do that though. This is an GDI Orca. Has a thruster here, so it shoots fire from the bottom. Let's make some choices. These rudders don't work anymore more with the physics. It used to help, but I can't let go of them. They have this rudder type shape in the Turing Sun game. Or this one was from Renegade actually. The design from Renegade. To color that back and stuff. Just had to make a camel carrying the team all the time. My dragon causality. Some guys who grown, some guys who were in their late teens, still a bit childish. Said it looks like that Pokemon Gyarados, I think it's called. Used to have the 150 poster and stuff, but you know, not anymore. I kept it somewhere. But yeah. Teeth like that. The tongue that sticks out like a serpent. Fire from its nose, like a breeze fire, you know. Kind of lion serpent. Worked out well on the face, but I didn't have much for the rest. But I got in what I wanted. I just wanted to make it more thick and behind the neck. It's the kind of serpent style I wanted to. And with the cosmetics, it also looks nice, but just a normal wings, it's also fine. I already knew what I wanted and enjoyed that. Used to fly really well. This would get damaged, and even if it did, you know, it had those nose moustache type of serpent stuff there, whatever you call it. So it could fly just with the head. The head is a D-stick on its own that can fly on its own, and most of the damage comes from the head. So to plasma breath fire you, bomb you, even if you shut all the tail off and just fly on. People didn't expect it. My lobster crab, I decided that I would finally use some creative stuff to make stuff that actually does look nice and isn't just cheap use of creativity. Because it actually works out like that. Some lobsters have those teeth on their claws there. I like that. Different species. I put some decals in between later so it actually damages you. Some guy told me to put insect legs here, but it doesn't look right. And it hovers and flies, so flies through midair or just hover. I like staying on the ground, and if it loses flight, it can always hover. My old rhinos. Oh no, this is the new one. Just because the legs fit on that tier. No, the older rhinos have the bigger, like standing your ground kind of pose of a rhino. You know. GG artillery, it's from Turing Sun again. should have a receiver there. I think it also got lost. Yeah, that was a downside. This is the shape it had in the game, and this is just because I could make that these hollow then. A T-Rex, pretty redundant. Just has to get you in one go, or else it will take too much damage and become less efficient. Plasma takes a lot of energy and stuff. So that's to destroy it at once, which it's good at. Can eat you. Or just, with his chicken wings. Chicken. Another version, so I could put legs on it, of the MKV2 Titan. MK2 Titan. GMM, I think. One SMG. These were big railguns. Could shoot pretty far and destroy almost anything really quick. Rocket pods. Don't have rockets yet, but limited on CPU, so I had to make it strong and survivable as it is in the game. So that's the creative priority. In this case, that's like the essence of it. One of the ways the essence shows is that even though you try to combine functionality with creativity, the creative aspect of this thing is survivability. If it survives, that makes it creative, as it is in the game. That's, hope you can get that concept. Other bots have it from different directions. Once I got refunded on Galaxy Cache, and I always wanted to make one of these hedgehogs. It moves around. You can't really see the legs when it moves around. Just like a real hedgehog, just scatters along the field. Pretty fast. Got refunded on Galaxy Cache. I spent $5 a day a month back then, on fun stuff, and in this case my garages, buying new garages. So I got refunded and could finally make this concept. Could have bought a lot of garages, which I really needed to make more great stuff that I love to make. I love to use. Like, you just make it once and then enjoy it every time so much. Just all the creative, just combine it. So I could finally make this concept, and I just did. That's totally worth it to me. Wolverine should be really small. Some guy said who also knows the game. Was a bit of a smartass, but it doesn't look right when it's too small. And I made it according to the game itself. Almost exactly accurate, except the legs wouldn't fit on if I made the hips exactly the same. No, that's actually not the... was it the arms that didn't look like machine guns? I don't know. So this is one more knight robot. So like, you see those hands there? They just feel like they're gonna grab you or something, or more like caress you, I think. Even in the anime series, which is kind of overrated, but it's a good storyline. Pretty good storyline actually. But that's the only thing, I think. In the series, the fingers are also as blocky. So it worked out. It's holding this sword. The sword is made to base creatively. So the sword is the strongest material on the bot. The red ones here. It's the strongest block type. Just had a connection point that was weaker because somehow that worked in game to not get shot and disperse damage, so it won't lose its Tesla as quick. But yeah, even if you shot it, most people didn't notice the sword and Tesla on it. Just shot me, and then I came up close to them and they thought like, okay, I can do this. Then I pull out my sword, opens, and they're like, oh shit, that's an actual sword. If they even have eyes. These are grappling hooks, which would, in the series it should have Teslas on it, but it would just mess up the looks so much. In the series it would damage you, they could damage you or grapple hook onto something, go there, pull themselves up, but could also shoot them at you and do a lot of damage with that. Shoot the guns out of your hands, that kind of precise stuff. Here you have the second turtle. I like the shield placement. Guess it's a leatherback. This is another experiment, and it did work, but I had to. A lot of times I made stuff backwards. You might know that issue. It was made so it wouldn't be as practical this time, but the idea is that when you shoot it at certain parts, which I was gonna trigger more easily, it would fire the arrow of Tesla towards you, and railgun you before that, like a far away. What do you call it? Radius weapon or something. I forgot the name. You can hear people from a distance, just like with the arrow. These are the spikes, the feather. Piece of a feather. The Australian kangaroo jumps onto you. It actually jumps like that in the game. I actually do that. The same with the UFO. It actually spins in the game. Although it used to all deal with those beams looking like lasers from the UFO and spin at the same time, and that spinning made the shield more disperse the armor over the drive force in such a way that it just worked well. And I could still coordinate it, like move the right direction while spinning. Actually taught myself how to do it for real. I could always fly straight if I really want to, but prefer not to. So yeah, this one jumps on top of you and then just... I don't know how a kangaroo would be aggressive, but I guess kick you with his legs. In this case it just... however it jumps on you, it just hurts a lot, so... Tesla. Those eyes. This is my aircraft carrier. Second one. Mega one. I never made megas because you always saw those megas that were undergunned, and sometimes they didn't have any gun, and it said, I just want to go mega, and they wasted all of your team, you know. So many times. So I never... In advance I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make it awesome from the start. But then I see people do stuff like that, I'm like, dude, I'm waiting like 2 years, saving up parts just so I can do one mega. And after those like ages of saving up, I finally made a mega, and 1 week later, after making 3 megas, after I realized I had enough parts by then, 1 week later they got removed from the genuine game. Now you can play them still, I guess, again in custom matches, but yeah, not more matches anymore. The deck is made out of... There's something under the deck, like the second layer. You can see that's like... I'm not gonna give away my secrets, but... Imagine something as strong as tier 10 armor. But then stronger. I'm not gonna tell. And there's an aircraft here. I tested it before I made the rest of the carrier. I made it in a separate bay and tested it. It can fly on its own. It looks like a VTOL. It doesn't even need its nose to fly. You know, it just can move sideways and all kinds of. So, if you would destroy all of the like 99% of mass, because there's a lot more mass in here than you can see, of the ship, the aircraft could detach and fly off on its own. It's easy for sketch shot, of course. It's the weapon placements I had to do in the right position of the ship. I show you that. Oh wait. Yeah, I should do this as well. This is Chelvan Portal. I could have made her more pixelated, so it looks like Chelvan Portal. But I decided not to go for that look. I decided to go for the function and make it so she could walk with legs. So she looks a bit tougher than she should, and a bit different than she should. But it works as it should, while maintaining the most creativity. My best spots were as creative as functional, and they were real killers. So they were actually, because of the specific way of tier-based creativity, they were stronger than normal bots. So you had some people mocking creatives, and of course there's 99% dumb ones, but it's not about that. It's about the awesome ones. So they were stronger than normal bots, and they were like mocking creatives prejudgmentally before seeing mine, and before taking a close look or see how it functions, then you beat them in the game. You know, it's like, and they every time you beat them, even if you do it 10 times in a row, they still pretend like it's just luck or some. They don't get it, you know? Even though all my squad was creatives that were creative killers. Here's the portal gun. It has a blink module, so if I lose my portal gun, I can't portal anymore. Just like it would be, and should be. Get it? My new Voyager, which just functioned, it didn't look as... It shot those nanos like beams of water, laser beams. And it looked like phasers firing, you know, so I put it on the phaser placements, and I just had to have more, so I placed on the engines. It has a blink module, so it can warp. It can just warp towards you and heal you, you know. Start shooting the lasers. Yeah, you get it. So, and this was my other Mega. Did I show all of them? I had 3. Where's my... Oh yeah, I have a Voyager somewhere. Large Voyager I made out of TX blocks, and then they removed the X, so it looked pretty awesome. Also a hover. Couldn't place enough guns. But this is the ISS, not under construction anymore. International Space Station. Making a video like this is like labor to me. I don't enjoy it as some other people do for some reason. Some gap they wanna fill and not really fill. I mean, sharing fun is the only thing that can make it more fun when you... Well... but yeah, it's more like labor to me, and this is my last spot. I could go back to the Voyager, but yeah, I'm kinda glad it's over. I hope you enjoyed. Space shuttle docked on the spec. Can also detach and fly on, so detach. Of course, that's right to happen. But if you shoot it in the right place when it's very damaged, you know. These are the mirrors to reflect sunlight into its solar panels, like real life. You can turn its solar panels towards the sun in real life. Some old Soyuz part, like one of the first parts, I think. They slowly build it up. Oh, where's the Columbus module? Yeah, this is the Columbus module. They used to... I placed a radar just... Oh no, it had the radar on the opposite side, yeah, of the Columbus module. Just like that's in real life on the International Space Station, radar in the right place, all that stuff. It's hollow inside here, just enough for a person to crawl through, and here as well, throughout the inner. I could crawl through it, but it's too much work. I don't feel like that. I hope you enjoyed and have a better understanding of how creativity and functionality can be applied in-game, and how such character traits, even if they're just a minor side effect of your actual personality, can make things more interesting. And I need something in life that is more serious and more consequential, and dignifies my existence in towards my personality more. But this is certainly one of those random moments I could randomly have in between with friends, and those were awesome times. I made a second account to work for the new updates, but I'm not gonna invest more into it with this type of community and them never fixing the updates, just making weapons that kill easier without any effort behind it to make it kill to be as killer as other people made it. You used to need a lot of skill for that to get to a certain level of damage and survivability. Now it's all matters a bit less. sounds like it gives you more options, but if everyone can do anything, it's like having admin powers in any game. It's why do you play the game? It's not that strongly, but towards that end. Pilot seat used to be near in the middle. It's eye candy. I understood that the creative designer, the graphical designer. I am very grateful to him, by the way, for picking my stuff, but more for the way he picked it, the way he gave the t-shirt a certain angle, so you saw my engine in a nice manner. It's hungry for butts. Its bag is empty. It's going to get you. Some guy said I should put the bag stuffed like it's already killed a lot, but it's hungry. It will come to get you. It's actually not my favorite one, but it's one of them in the top 10, I think. Yeah. The way to use is epic. It's lawn mowing people. Okay, so yeah. Of course, the graphical designer can't put his passion to work for the game as well as he might if the owner doesn't see how we should change the game back to tier-based creativity and that kind of physics and aiming skill that made it a challenge for even first shooter type of players to play SMG, and many things that made the game great. Of course, also stuff that just happens, like individualless, characterless kids just doing some game and another having no ambition. And but I don't focus on the bad. There's a lot of good, but they spend the factory full of crap, so you can't find the gems anymore, right? At first, you just had the gems because people didn't have time to make something for the factory to get famous by, which is their drive behind it then, which it became later, like those people who like to stream themselves, and you get a insecurity kick out of it. I would enjoy it if I were sharing fun as much as I enjoy that fun. But so yeah, that's why the factory also went to shit, of course. But the best creative killers, builders, they know all that shit. Even if they've never formulated it. I need a ghost stalker. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you've gotten a better understanding of the beauty that I explained so elaborate that I'm not going to summarize it. My person, and even though I went off to a different track occasionally, I think that's all part of the essence. And I wouldn't do it any other way. Have a good life.